Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our Axis playthrough. In the last episode, we took on primarily Germany, finishing up things we had to do as Japan, leading into the upcoming Pearl Harbor, which will happen a little late, I think, historically. Actually, maybe not. I just looked it up and it was in December. I'm getting it a little confused with 9/11. Sorry, I'm from New York City. Anyway. We have remaining in this turn Italy, and then like maybe one or two things to do is Germany. One such thing could be, yes, the reinforcement of the U-32 sub. I just thought of this, from 4 to 5 strength. This means a 1 turn long reinforcement time for it upcoming instead of 2, because at a port you can only reinforce 5 strength at a time. Additionally, we have the U-81 sub that needs to get up to rating up here at some point. There's 2 ways I can do this. One way is to just run it to this port and then run it over here some other time. Another way is to use the naval cruise. Now, this is a little more tricky, because if I want to just go over here, it's going to have to push through UK territory, and that's a mistake. We don't, I think, get to set waypoints in this mode. But what I can do is come out to like right about here and just go all the way north. And then I'm not certain, but I think that even if you naval cruise, you can still raid the next turn. Either way, no matter if that's the case or not, it's still kind of the same scenario. We either get here and raid this turn and it works, or both routes leads to the same situation next turn. And I'm thinking this sub might be able to base out of like this dock up here. Would actually be pretty useful for it, huh? Could go even further if I wanted to. There's another one over here. But this is where you run into potentially having some Russian boats to worry about. This seems like a pretty decent spot to attempt to begin the raiding. So we're going to head up over there, offset by 1 hex, hopefully get raiding, because this is a very potentially valuable thing to raid. I would love to get even more submarines up here just because it's so valuable. Both the US to UK routes and the UK to USSR routes, as I've learned by playing the Allies, super valuable. More valuable, honestly, than every single one of these lines combined. Probably even throw in Canada by themselves, which is absolutely crazy. Both of these are down to 8 supplies, so they can probably just stay where they are. They have strength in numbers right now. I don't have any sign that anything is coming to interdict them at the moment. This is an AI, not a player, again, so nothing to really worry about there. We did have some movement. The carrier, the enemy carrier, I don't remember if it went east or west. I'm not sure about that. If I had to guess, it's either somewhere in Malta here, or it's somewhere by Alexandria. I kept trying to go east, so I'm guessing it can't be in Malta for whatever reason, or maybe there's not enough supply there, I don't know. But let's look at the good old Italians. We don't really have the medium bomber capacity, the bombing capacity in general, to really damage its desert recon, but its readiness and morale and even entrenchment are pretty low, and we can get some good damage in just by rolling with our best armies in the best positions, and then using the fact that we are technically nearly surrounding these units. So the first thing I'll do is I'll take the 5th Army, and we're going to go ahead and go on the attack. 2 damage dealt to the enemy reconnaissance. Still can't really get any good bombing in there. We will swap in the 10th Army. Army's most important thing. And even though it's a blitz, I'm going to go ahead and attack with that. 2 damage dealt, and we got XP and took no casualties. Ooh, okay. Okay, what about bombing now? It's starting to look better, but the odds are still pretty in our favor, so prepare to attack, but from a much worse position with the 1st Army. 2 damage dealt, none taken. Okay. I mean, that's going pretty well so far. What's supply like around here? Just that spot is bad. Okay. Well, let's move the 1st Army back. Let's move one of these forward. I'm not sure which one. They have roughly the same range they can both move. Let's move this corps forward. Okay, 1 damage. Yeah, let's blitz it. Let's go for it. 1 damage dealt, and it runs away. Ooh, okay. But only the tank is good enough to move forward and claim that spot. Not that that spot is particularly relevant. If they move up into it, they're moving up into a clear field in the middle of the desert with no emplacements, no entrenchments, nothing to protect them. So not too concerned about that, honestly. Supply is decent there though, but nothing that I'd really want to claim it can get there. This corps might have been able to get there. I don't know with this army there. This one certainly cannot. I am at least fairly pleased with the lack of deaths so far on the Italian side. It means we actually might finally be able to get some research done. But we're not done with the units yet. And so let's take the Ariete tanks. We're gonna move them. Oh my god, wait, I can move through? Oh, okay. Let's move back to the road here. Still doesn't free up the ability to get anybody over there due to zone of control, but I doubt they're gonna move this up. And if they don't move anything up, it's going to be like, I'm just going to be advancing on them. What is projected supply? Ugh, but the supply is not going to be too great. We'll end up being able to get some HQs moving forward, theoretically, like along the road after this, but it's still not going to be the greatest. How great is it for them? I'm not sure. They're next to Alexandria, so certainly better than it is for us. We still have more things to do, however. Namely, Ethiopia. So, interesting situation we're in. It's not very good, even though it's kind of good. The enemy South Africans here have one supply, roughly. Maybe this one still has 0. This one started moving north, up, away from our attacks, in fact, towards Mekelle. And this is really bad, because if they get that, then they get a good source of supply. I can't really justify moving off of Massawa, the capital over here. Simultaneously, to the west, we have more we have the Sudanese and their HQ. Very vulnerable, very easy to hurt. So big target of opportunity. This is the most dangerous target of opportunity because they have experience and they're headed towards something important. But I can't really use this so long as this guy's here, because assuming this is everything other than the HQ, which I don't know where the fuck the HQ is, maybe it's down here. So I have a choice, I think, that I can make, and that is to move the Abyssinia Corps forward, take the second corps, move it forward, get some bonuses surrounding this, and then try to do some damage. 2 damage dealt, none taken. Oh, we overperformed. We dealt 3 damage, we wiped out an entire one of those corps. That one had 0 supply. So I can now move this corps back, essentially. How is supply in this region? Let me just check. It's 3 from this town, maybe due to being surrounded. I'm not sure, maybe just due to being in Ethiopia in general. Might be due to being surrounded. Okay, so that's terrible. But supply can now pass through unhindered here, but... Like, just to make sure, I want to step on there anyway. I don't want anything to come step on this, though. I don't want this guy to get cut off. But even if he is cut off, I think it would be fine because it could still pass through around here, right? Well, any supply of note is coming from here, not here. So it actually makes the most strategic sense to just move west. If something steps on this town, all they're really doing is getting into my firing range. I could easily move both of these things forward and annihilate almost anything that goes over there. And even if they do take it, like, what's going to take it? A garrison? Kill it. An HQ? Kill it. This corps? No. Look where it is. It's stuck here now. And I believe I just cut off its route to supply. Well, unless it's coming from here. I'm still not sure about that. It does look like I will be able to make some research work for Italy. So thinking on what I could go ahead and research, I believe what I will pick is actually production technology. And the reason for this is most of our money that we're spending is getting spent on units. And so if I can get another, or well, my first 5% discount on all of those costs, well, that can save, you know, every 20 MPPs I use on reinforcement, I save 1. I'm using a lot of MPPs on reinforcement. I'm using a lot of MPPs on upgrades and things like that. So ideally, the more I can save, the better. I will refrain from reinforcing this right now, this sub, because it's at 5 anyway. I could reinforce it fully in 1 turn. Unfortunately, I can't just reinforce this one. That one would be +2 and it's done. Since I believe that the carrier is off somewhere safe, you know, for itself, I'm gonna get this battleship moving back right up here where it can be nice and happy and safe. This heavy cruiser could do with moving somewhere a bit more prepared. Let's say right over here at Dubrovnik, there's good supply there. This Turkish cruiser, Supply 8, supply 8. I mean, it's fine where it is, I think. To be a little more careful with it, though, I've gone ahead and sent it to Izmir, where there's actually full supply. I've recorded that sentence like 5 times because there's a child screaming like a demon in the hallway for some reason. In the meantime, we need to get our medium bombers forward a little bit more, so we'll send them right up to here where there's still 7 supply, which is better than they had just now, actually. And with that, I believe I've done everything that I'm going to do for this turn. There's not much reason to go seeking anything else navally. I believe everything is clear. I do not want to engage the Russians. I don't feel like committing that much naval focus to this sea when my problem is on land. So, with that, let's go ahead and hit end turn. See what happens. Yeah, US oil embargo hits Japanese morale. It's going to keep repeating over and over again. We're going to get it back. We're gonna get it back. Also, Kiev reduces Soviet national morale. Very good. Let's see. For Japan, to better prepare for war in Southeast Asia, it's recommended we occupy the whole of French Indochina. There it is. Our approach will be to entice the French authorities to agree to a protocol concerning joint defense and military cooperation that will allow us to position troops in Indochina and use it as a base for offensive operations into Southeast Asia. Doing this will have less effect on US mobilization than if we were to declare war on Indochina, though doing so will cost us 25 MPPs. So, basically, get half or less of the total mobilization towards America for 25 MPPs. Even in one turn, that pays itself in dividends. Like, that's so much less MPPs that America's getting. Would you like to approve our signing of the protocol and allow us to peacefully occupy French Indochina? If you agree to this, we can do this without overthrowing the French authorities. This will have less diplomatic consequences than if we were to declare war on the French authorities and conquer the country militarily. Sure. Yes. Gimme! Japan gains access to Indochina from the Vichy French authorities. Hell yeah, it's my country now, baby! US is concerned about Japan's move into French Indochina. Yeah. But you're going to be more concerned about Japan's move into Hawaii soon, assuming that actually works out. I don't know if it will. We'll find out. Ooh, and I got a little convoy. Woo! MPPs. Sweden-German convoys. Yeah, not much I can do about that at the moment. Well, actually there is, but it's just not much I want to do about it. The MPPs that I'm losing is not worth it to me compared to the MPPs that I could min-max on land, considering my long-term objectives. Roosevelt broadcasts warning of the danger of a Nazi victory in Europe. Germany develops production technology level 2. Ooh, yay. Good. That's very good. AA defense for Japan level 1. That's something I wish I had earlier, but okay. And MPPs. So Japan is now getting 8 MPPs per turn at full strength from Indochina. That's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. Atlantic Charter, joint declaration by Churchill and Roosevelt as a first statement of war aims. Those bitches. You're not even in the war. Fucking allies. Ooh, they're moving the HQ. Why? Ooh, they ran that injured corps away. Okay, they ran the tank away. Okay, on the Soviet fronts. More Chinese corps moving forward. God, my God, they're like ants. Oh, there's... Well, this garrison's running away. Kind of just letting me push towards Kweichow. Still strategic bombing going on. I mean, I don't have a fighter all the way back there, so that much is like, yeah. Oh, but I do have fighters here, motherfucker. But you have escorts. Ooh. 2 damage to your escorts, none to mine. 1 damage to your bombers, none to my fighters. And then some damage to the MPPs of Italy here, and supply from Benghazi. Yeah, they're keeping it up. Oh! Oh, they did come down here. They took 4 damage, we took none. Okay, that's good, but there's like an army of these things, man. Oh, they just attacked me with that train and did nothing. And now they're trying to run away. Imagine if I could cut that off. It can only move by rail. If I could move this 1 step forward next turn, it's stuck and can't get anywhere. Oh, I might be able to. We have mobility over there. That tank keeps running back and forth. Now this is running back and forth. Actually, we've already cut it off because it can't claim territory. It's already stuck there. What just happened? US oil embargo hits Japanese morale. Why did that affect my visibility into Into China. What? U-boats deploy at Kiel? Oh. I got another sub. Oh, cool. That can go north. Survivors from Nanning reform their units in Chongqing. Ah, yes. Communist partisan activity in China. Oh, fuck you. Okay, now I can see again. I guess that was just some weird bug. Disrupt UK, USSR, Canada, UK, Africa, UK, Egypt, UK, and probably America, UK. Alright, I wonder how much that actually added up to. Ooh, look at all this. They didn't do a lot, did they? They mostly just ran away. They may have accidentally attacked with that destroyer, but like, they went up against something that they could never beat. They need more than just the destroyer to hurt those cruisers, and most of their non-destroyers are elsewhere, unless that stuff's from the Mediterranean. Heavy cruiser in the Atlantic. Fighters near Siwa Oasis? What? Why are those there? 2 more U-boats. What the fuck? Why are we getting so many U-boats? What is this? And they're all deploying in Germany, meaning they're all perfect to go raiding this as a unified force, and then some of them sweeping around if we need to. Oh, and this is even better. Remember when I said I had like 4 special forces to get out at sea? Well, that's not the case anymore, because I just got 2 more of them. We're not done yet. Oy vey. More at 8 strength. Well, I mean, that's great if I just want to turn them over here. I was gonna send this one and this one, right? That's 2. Well, shit, here's more. These other ones could turn to different targets, like this one is already, yeah, this one's supply is going down. These ones are not. These ones are not. Okay, so only normal amphibious will go down if it stays at sea. So this one could head elsewhere. This one could head elsewhere. We don't need to worry about it. Keeping them all active and all doing things is going to be a task regardless. Let's look at some things I was already looking at in the prior episode, which would include the Yugoslavian front over here in the Caucasus, where we've now surrounded this armored train. The base price of an armored train, by the way, is 200 MPPs. It's quite a lot. And it's stuck here by moving up like I did, which I didn't even realize that this is what I was doing. I got it stuck here. That's hysterical. So, naturally, we have to beat it up, right? We don't have air support. It's down to 3 supply. I'm amazed it has any supply, but down to 3 supply. Let's go after it. Let's attack it. Nobody that's right next to it can upgrade. So let's just go. Army attacked, only did 1 damage. That is sad. Let's try you, Betaliska Core. 2 damage. Okay, it's better. I don't want to rush anyone too far ahead because, like, we still need to upgrade. That's still a concern. But I want to do as much damage here as is humanly possible. The Bosanska Corps all the way in the rear here can make it all the way around this bitch and attack with a blitz attack. 1 damage, completely cutting off any route for it to move, by the way. Betaliska Corps, no damage dealt. It was supposed to be able to deal some damage, so unfortunate that it did none. Let's just continue to fully surround it. Attack with the Belgrade Corps dealing 3 damage. Okay, not too shabby. It's surrounded. I've attacked with everybody except this one, and this one with its 4 supply isn't seeming like it's going to do very well against anyone, but I'll give it a shot. Yeah, no, nothing. So we got stuck, hung up on Grozny. Now we're getting stuck, hung up on an armored train, but it literally can't do anything. It will die, probably next turn. And with it goes 200 MPPs of the Soviets, essentially. That's 200 MPPs worth of firepower. Then we'll look at getting these guys upgraded real quick and reinforced, and then we'll push out further with them. No one said this was going to be super quick. I'm hoping to have this beat by 43. It's not even 42 yet, so as far as things are concerned, we're still moving at a appropriate timetable. Looking at the Finnish front, we're going to go ahead and start getting some upgrades in for infantry weapons for our units up here. Just that's pretty much it. Still may get that long-range fighters, but also probably not. This is just fine enough for the time being. I'm quite happy with it. Finland. You know, it's a shame that Finland doesn't have its own maritime bombers. Anything else would have to be, like, from Germany, and then hopefully able to just get up here. Don't know if they can do that without a link Or by sea. Well, actually, by sea, yeah, I think that's actually possible. But I don't have maritime bombers. But if I remember correctly, which I think I do, we are making some. I chose to make them as like a quick deployment force to try to help out with certain things. That could be really helpful over here. Oh man, it could be helpful. Team up with the Finnish air and then kind of try to save that route without risking a bunch of naval forces in a prolonged naval battle. So I have a very hilarious situation looking at Turkey. There's a gigantic sandstorm going on. And so now this HQ really still just can't get down in here because of the sandstorm. So my choice is now to either stay here, even though the supply is not gonna really be relied upon from up here necessarily. It's gonna be more from down here as time goes on. So I should just like start moving in that direction so I can get to a good spot sooner, or I just have to wait on the weather. I'm not really sure, and again, I can't look at supply spread until I move, so let's just look. And then supply spread is actually going to get better here for some reason. Just, I don't know why. I don't think I should have this much supply here, but apparently I do. I think that's like relying on this as a projection. I'm not really sure. Either way, the HQ is going to start moving now because, well, it needs to. Additionally, we need to get some more things moving around. So this 4th Corps is going to move down so we can kind of get more into towns and entrench and all that other jazz. There's not much else to go except for like west and south. We got to secure Kuwait, Kuwait, Basra, and Abadan here. This is a source of some amount of MPPs, but also supply in this case, and ports leading over here that could be very important. Potentially, before we could easily move this way. And I'm thinking like, you know what, maybe it would make more sense to just, now that we can get a corps down here, to take this army and move that somewhere else instead. Have the army help with pushing down here, wipe this out before we go ahead and start moving our attention westwards, before we start trying to pour into Transjordan. Because supply is still catching up here anyway, so not really sure. But that seems like the smarter thing. It's going to be easier to do with armies than with corps, and there might be an army over here that I remember seeing. Maybe something Indian, something special was over here anyway. I think I will go ahead and kind of do that. So we'll take this army, 1st Turkish army. It can only get this far naturally. We're going to force march the 2nd Turkish army. So they're right behind the corps on the towns. Kind of idea is get them ready once supply catch ups, which it's not going to catch up anytime too soon. Move the 5th Corps over here into the defensive position, looking into Transjordan, and kind of shift onto an offensive, one that will be bolstered by the HQ once the Turkish HQ finally gets into the country, which, oh my good god, this could have been so much easier if we had just owned Syria, but that would have been even more diplomacy, and I don't know how well I could have afforded that. Would have made this section a lot better. Could have also just worked on this with not using Turkey, you know, instead of like moving Turkey, doing anything with Turkey, just sitting around and just freeing up points slowly to put into this and then rushing him. But then I wouldn't have had time to say Iraq anyway. Iraq would have just been doomed. So I don't believe that this sub did any raiding. I don't remember seeing a report for that for UK USSR. Maybe there was and I just kind of skimmed over it. Given the supply situation, I guess I'll also take the 1st Fighters of Turkey and move them right about here. Seems to be a fine enough position. Not really sure I need to go any further. I could. A little more centralized position where there is already technically supply. At least enough. Sure, why not? It's no harm one way or another. Just putting myself in bad weather. Gotta go through it eventually anyway. Now looking in Ethiopia, this corps didn't go any further. It just chose to stay put. This HQ ran away, but this corps is still here. Which is so weird, isn't it? I think it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and just attack that, starting with the 2nd Corps here. 3 damage dealt, none taken, okay. 2 damage dealt, none taken. Okay, you know, it was supposed to be 2 and 2. We got 3 and 2. I was really hoping for 3 and 3, but I understand that that is not the case in this case. There's still nothing that I see coming towards this town. I think it's fine for now to just stay stacked up like this. This corps is like guaranteed to die next turn anyway, even if it tries to run away. So that's 2 South African corps dead. Only an HQ is not really a threat. This Sudanese corps plus its HQ can be dealt with easily after that. You know, get some reinforcements in, go slaughter them, and then maybe we can start retaking stuff, or also go for Djibouti and Berbera. I'm quite amazed that we're actually winning in Ethiopia. We now have the numbers advantage in a way. I mean, technically speaking, it's a 4v3 where they have the 4, but 2 of what they have are HQs. In terms of actual functional strength and not including redundant buffs, it's like we still have more to fight with and less to lose. They have more to lose in this situation. I don't have any further troops here. All I can really recruit is like another garrison directly over there, and that's not entirely worth it. Just 2 corps is not a lot to work with. With an HQ, maybe something can get done, but I feel like against a player, they could definitely plan for this. Like with the way I planned, this never would have happened. Over by Libya and Egypt, we're gonna move the 5th Army forward along the road, and oh, what do you know? This super upgraded WDF Army, I remember this name. I don't remember exactly what I ended up doing with this, but I know I just stormed and took over Libya like it was nothing in my little playthrough. WDF Army here. WDF, what the fuck? The what the fuck army? Am I funny? I want to move an HQ forward, but I want to move it right here. The problem is now I have this fucking tank that needs to reinforce here. I want to get more supply up here. Gazoni HQ, what if I were to move you right here? You have only 3 action points. Yeah, that is a problem. But what if I moved you here instead and then swapped you? It still has enough supply for a reinforce. Sure, let's try that. Here you go. And then move forward. And then, yes, 6 supply. 5, 5. Oh yes, baby. This is looking good. Getting this army out of the way might be one of the single hardest things that I can do in Libya in the current, or Egypt, in the current situation. So here's another idea. What if I didn't fight it? What if, let's move this guy forward, I could somehow take this recon unit finally fully out of commission, and then I got around it and just encircled it so that it was not a threat. 5 turns, it runs out of supply, and we just destroy it. If this is the army, the tanks are somewhere down here, well then what's on Alexandria? I feel like if it's not a garrison there, at least really just a single ballsy long-range amphibious transport, or a short-range one, just rolling up here and landing is all we need to actually do some massive damage. Just go right down to Cairo, and there you go. To actually be able to look at basically Cairo and Alexandria and see my forces on either side now, that feels like great progress, because in my eyes this was always going to be the thing that took the longest of my objectives that I needed to accomplish. But now it's not seeming like that, is it? Because they can not necessarily fight all of Italy, plus a fairly decently equipped Turkish expeditionary force, right? Especially if USSR falls. Maybe by the end of this it will turn out that the USSR ends up being the hardest thing that we've done yet. I'm not sure. I was really expecting this to be the harder part. But we will go ahead and move the 1st Army here, get into position for some swapping. You know, if they just swap this army out and just like move the recon in, I wouldn't really be that upset. Really, really wouldn't. But let's go ahead and reinforce the Ariete tanks. Definitely want that reinforced. I do want to bombard this whether it works or not. Because, well, I want to, so I'm gonna. They didn't run an escort over. We've lowered the morale for sure a little bit. Yeah, look, we can even deal damage now. 2 damage dealt, 1 taken. Unfortunate, but we're in pretty good supply. Well, we will be as of next turn, and we could just swap in and out with armies and whatnot, and then just kind of see how that goes. I'll move the fighters forward a little bit. I'm not too sure about what to do with this army or this corps right here. I'll hold there for now because we are out of time for this episode. I'll figure this out next episode. For now, hope you guys are enjoying the series. We're here now at the end of August, soon to be September, late September already, of 1941. Pearl Harbor draws close. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.